Good morning, everyone, and welcome in to another edition of WST Sunday Live, a Winnipeg Jets game day edition of WST Sunday Live. My name is Connor Hrabchak, soon to be joined by my co-host, Lyss Houde. Thank you, everyone, for popping by in chat. 9 a.m. here on a Sunday. We're here every single Sunday for WST Sunday Live. And like I said, it's a game day edition. The Jets take on the Minnesota Wild today in their first preseason action down at Canada Life Center at 4 o'clock. We're going to break down what we've seen from training camp over the first number of days. Yesterday's FanFest, Lyss's first ever FanFest, so we'll get her thoughts on what she thought of the whole event. And we're going to get into today's lineup. The Jets released who's playing last night. We're going to, project some lines if we can be wrong this early in the morning, and we absolutely can be. So we're going to project some lines, see where the Winnipeg Jets line up today against the Minnesota Wild. But I want to give a quick shout out to everyone popping by and everyone who popped by over the weekend. FanFest was yesterday. We had our WST booth popped up there on one of the rinks, and we did a show for about an hour and 10 minutes right out of a legal curve. Just want to thank everyone for popping by, saying hi, grabbing a koozie, grabbing a sticker, all of those things. Your support means everything, and we love seeing you there at FanFest. And there were a lot of people there at FanFest. That is the number one takeaway for me from yesterday. But before I go too far, let's bring in my co-host, Lyss Houde. Lyss, your first ever FanFest yesterday. How are you holding up the day after the FanFest hangover?
I'm good. Not gonna lie to you, the quiet is not bad. It's been welcome for the last however many hours this morning, last night, everything like that. It's a busy place to be, but holy smokes, as someone who has planned some events on a significantly smaller scale and stuff like that in the past, I just can't get over how well oiled a machine that event seems to be, how many different things there are going on, how many moving parts are involved in making sure it gets set up. And I was blown away. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I will say it wasn't my first FanFest, and every year it rains. Every single year it feels like it's pouring rain on FanFest Day. I think the last 3 years it actually has rained. I talked to a Jets employee that was like, yeah, I think it has. And they do all this stuff outside and prepare all of these outdoor activities and, food trucks outside and the Jets dogs you can get outside. All of these things are outdoors. And for the first time ever, they sold out 5,000 tickets today or yesterday for FanFest. And it was pouring rain. So there were 5,000 people, I'm sure, packed into Hockey for All Center. And Mitch Clinton made a great post showing the players kind of walking through and just the sea of people. It's like, yeah, Winnipeg cares about their hockey team because it's a cold, rainy day and there's 5,000 people packed into this small rink outside of the city and supporting their Winnipeg Jets. But before we get into today's lineup and what we've seen out of training camp, let's run through some of the photos that we got at training camp, Lyss. We were having a blast. Let's take a look. Here's us, the WST folks. We had a great time. Great photo. This photo credit goes out to Cameron Penny, Winnipeg Jets social media manager.
I gotta tag him at Cam Penny.
At Cam Penny. There's my Dylan Sandberg jersey. I've never looked happier.
Photo credits out Lyss Houde.
Yeah. The brand has never been stronger, folks. Picked up a Dylan Sandberg Heritage jersey, and we are ready for the season. The players did scrimmage, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. Our takeaways from the scrimmage, as much as you can take away. But there definitely are things to take away from the skates and what we've seen of the players so far. We did have a show. This is our WST booth there. Huss and Remo having a great time, having a blast. Lyss and I popped by. If you missed yesterday's stream, go check it out right after this one. But that was FanFest. That was an absolute blast. Lyss, maybe just a quick word on, we got these friendship bracelets too. Do you still have yours on? Did you take yours off? I haven't.
I took mine off because I had a
Okay.
shower yesterday and I
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
want it to get all screwed
I
up.
put
But
mine back
it's in my
on.
kitchen right now.
It's not working.
Shout out to Bailey. I
Anyways,
see that
yeah.
she's in the chat now. She's on her way to practice. So
Yeah.
she made some Winnipeg Sports Talk bracelets for not just us, but also for the listeners that stopped by the booth as well. So we were able to kind of hand those out. My nails are a little bit long, so it took me a while to get those bracelets tied on to a lot of folks.
Yeah.
But hey, that allows for some good conversation and getting to know people. And I just can't get over how many of you I still haven't met. Like, there's so many people that come up and then they tell us who they are, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it is so nice to finally meet you and all these different things.
Exactly.
I can't get over how wonderful of a community Huss and Remo have built, and it's so fun to get to be a part of it. It's so fun to get to cultivate that, and something like FanFest is just the epitome of it. Watching people stop by the Illegal Curve booth, watching people stop by our booth, like, it was so much fun to get to see everyone and run into people out in the concourse, and you're just trying to go over to watch people shoot for their Manitoba Moose tickets and stuff like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's somebody else, and oh my goodness, there's another person I know, and people coming up and saying hi. And I know that I don't know if scary is the right word, but sometimes when you're approaching a conversation, you're like, I know who this person is, and they're not going to know who I am immediately. It can like freak you out a little bit, because that's me all the time with so many people that I know who they are. But it's so nice to kind of bridge that gap and be like, oh my gosh, it's so great to put a face to a name, because I know exactly who you are, and it's so great to actually get to meet you. So it was really awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It's your boy Bruce in the chat is saying sick Moose crew neck. Thank you so much. This was my Dylan Sandberg jersey purchase at the merch sale yesterday. Connor's brand has never been stronger. My brand has never been stronger. I saw these. These are the 25th anniversary edition. I'm giving you guys like a 360 look here. From last year, the crew necks that they had, and I thought they were stunning last year. When I saw all the Moose boys out modeling them, I was like, okay, these are really, really nice. And then I saw they were on sale, had to get one. So this is my most proud purchase of the day yesterday.
Both of us supporting our own brands. Me with the Sandberg jersey, you with the Moose crew neck. Absolutely. Let's. I do want to give a shout out to C-Mac as well. He popped by before FanFest. I believe it was Thursday, maybe it was Friday in training camp. It was nice meeting C-Mac. Saw so many people. Bailey, the intern, is in chat. T. Will said his takeaway was that something about trades. Bit of a trade snob from fantasy football. Yeah.
Trade like Bucky Irving and CeeDee Lamb for a bench receiver or something. Yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah, there were a lot of jokes had at FanFest. And like I said, really appreciate everyone popping by. Nice to meet some new people and put some faces to some YouTube usernames for sure. That was an absolute blast. But Lyss, it is a Winnipeg Jets game day. But before we get to the Jets game today and who they're playing is in like who's on their roster for today's game. Let's talk about training camp. I know you were there on Thursday, and obviously you were there yesterday for FanFest, where they did scrimmage and they did skate, and we did watch the scrimmage before joining Huss and Remo live on Winnipeg Sports Talk. What are some of your initial takeaways, if you will, from training camp? It's been 3 skates, and there's a game today, so it's hard to make any sweeping conclusions of which player, has won a job or lost a job in the top 12 or top 6 when looking at forwards or defense. But what's one thing that maybe stood out to you, or one player that stood out to you over the past couple of days of skates and yesterday's scrimmage at the Hockey for All Center?
Yeah, a couple of things from me. Number one, I think Jonathan Taves is going to sell a lot of tickets. I think that that's not exactly a lineup comment, but it was really crazy to see kind of the response to him yesterday, especially because I don't know, like, I feel like the generation of people who are the most like gobsmacked by him is kind of like us.
Yeah.
Like the people who grew up with him in the Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin era, right? Of the like, oh my gosh. But I feel like there are people from every single generation who are just so enthralled by his presence, and it's really neat to see it. I guess I think about it now, like I'll be 50 years old, and whoever the Connor Bedard is of that era, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, this kid is unbelievable as well. So maybe that's unfair to paint people in that light. But seeing, like 7-year-olds getting excited about Jonathan Taves, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool. It's the same way that, we can get excited about like the Mario Lemieux and Gretzky's of the world or whatever, right? Because we just understand and acknowledge how much they've done for the game and how incredible they were in their prime and stuff like that. So that aside, and he's not looking too shabby out there, it's really interesting to see him kind of taking those line rushes and in that scrimmage. And I don't know, this is maybe a strange observation, but his posture while he's skating is very, very astute, and stiff is the wrong word, but that head is up. That head is up. Like, he is scanning. Like, he is never, ever, like, kind of zoned in, focused on the puck. When it's on his stick, he's not looking at that, which I know you're not supposed to do, whatever, but you can tell the way he's just gauging his surroundings at all times. It's really neat to watch kind of at that ice level how much he is paying attention to what's kind of going on around him, which kind of sounds like the bare minimum for an NHL player, but it is really fascinating to watch and kind of observe how much he's trying to pay attention to everyone around him. Because as Scott Arniel said when he spoke to us, I guess it would have been on Thursday in Thursday's media. It was in yesterday's media. One of the two, it doesn't matter. Scott Arniel said that it's all about what he does to make the people around him better, right? And I think that those are the little things that you can observe to figure out what he's doing to try and make those around him better. And I'm going to be paying attention to the stat lines of his line mates and defense pairings that he plays with the most over the course of the year to see how true that actually ends up being with a 37-year-old Jonathan Taves. But that was a huge tangent for something you didn't even ask about. I've been liking Cole Koepke. I've been liking Colby Barlow. I've been liking Denny Jelkin, and I've been liking Elias Salmonson. I think that there's going to be some competition for that fourth line, for the guys that can cycle through there between, Koepke and Gustafsson and Anderson Dolan and Barron and Pearson and all those guys that we don't know exactly what that bottom six configuration is going to look like yet. But I think that there's been some qualitative competition down there, and it's not just going to be, okay, like, who is the guy who makes the most money and has the most experience that I guess we'll just throw into that role. I think it's going to be people who earn their way through the next couple of weeks here, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole Koepke, I want to shout out him as well, because you mentioned that he's impressed you. He's been really impressive to me. And I know he's a player that is almost certainly going to start on the fourth line. And the third line, I've actually really liked as well, in terms of that is Niederreiter, Nemesnikov, and Iafallo on that third line for the time being until Adam Lowry comes back. I've really liked what they've done in 3-on-2 drills and battle drills in the scrimmage yesterday. I think that line has really been solid. So there's no room really for Koepke to move up the lineup. But as a fourth liner, and I've said this to you, Lyss, and I think I've said this on the program as well, anytime a fourth line player scores over 10 goals without any power play time, without any special teams time, just strictly fourth line minutes, which isn't much, it intrigues me. Like, Morgan Barron was a guy who scored 11 goals in a pure fourth line role 2 seasons ago. And that's the kind of player that can move up the lineup with more usage, can put up more points. And Cole Koepke, I mean, he skates really well. His calling card is that he's physical. He'll fight if he needs to. And if he can score 11 goals from a fourth line role, that's a win for the Winnipeg Jets. And it's not going to change their season by any means, but quality depth is a good thing, because we talked a lot about organizational depth and the Moose being good this year. Well, you can't have the Moose be amazing and then your fourth line struggle every night. Like, you need these fourth line players to contribute in a positive fashion to your team, and you don't want them to be a complete black hole, either offensively or defensively, in terms of the production they're putting forward. So I think it is worth analyzing and worth mentioning that Cole Koepke has had a strong camp, and he's scored some goals. He had a nice goal in the scrimmage yesterday. He's flying around. I didn't realize he was such a good skater, or as good of a skater as he is. So that's something that he's not playing in today's game, I don't believe. Or maybe he is. Hold on.
Cole Koepke, yeah, he is.
He is playing in today's game. So that's something I'll be watching for. Cole Koepke. It's going to be interesting to see how these players kind of gel, because Morgan Barron's also playing in today's game. That's seemingly going to be his line mate on the fourth line, at least to begin the season. So how can those two players maybe develop a little bit of chemistry early in the season? Again, it's the first preseason game, so it's hard to get like big sweeping takeaways from the very first preseason game, where it's essentially the Manitoba Moose playing. But that's something that I actually will be watching for. And Waiters here says, biggest preseason game of the year. Yes, game of the year. Biggest game of the year so far today at 4:00 at Canada Life Center. Lyss, anything else from training camp? I do have one more training camp take, but I'll let you go if you have anything else before we move on to today's game and the roster.
Yeah, no, nothing really, because I think that there's still so much skating left to be done over the next couple of weeks here. I think you and I are both hoping to be out there quite a few more times. I was so pumped to finish up the show here today and go watch the 11 o'clock group, and then they posted who it was, and it's like Owen Martin, Jacob Cloutier, and like Alex Worthington. Yeah. It's like 5 guys or something like that, and I was like, you know what? maybe not. But I don't have any other sweeping takes for the time being, unfortunately. I think that we will touch base about all these other training camp takeaways next week for sure, because there's going to be a lot that happens between now and next Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. And chat's having a good time. Is it a must-win today? Darth Skater asks.
It's a can't lose.
Yeah, Jay Miller said, is it must-win or can't lose? Yeah, it's a big one today. Big one today down at Canada Life Center, folks. And we're going to get into it in just a second. But I do have one more training camp take that I need to drop on the show. And this is something that I'll come back to later on and might look very dumb. But Nikita Chibrikov, I said this on yesterday's Winnipeg Sports Talk, has been, relative to expectation, easily the most impressive Winnipeg Jet to me through the first 3 days of camp. And I know it's only 3 days, and I'm not here to say that Nikita Chibrikov's winning a job or he's stealing a job from Tanner Pearson or anything like that when looking at the forward core, because it has only been 3 days. But there have been 3 days of camp, and they're worth analyzing. And Nikita Chibrikov, coming off of the major knee injury, has absolutely shown well, in my opinion, in the first 3 days here of camp. In the scrimmage yesterday, he was flying around, getting in battles, getting in corners, had the puck on his stick a lot, was making plays. But the 2 days before that were really what were impressive to me. On Friday, they did a battle drill. And I told this story on Winnipeg Sports Talk yesterday, but if you missed it, I'm going to tell it again. Yesterday, or Friday it was, they did a battle drill where there's one forward in the corner, there's a defenseman, and then a forward that are playing defense. So the one forward is almost destined to lose because they're designed to lose, because the defenseman takes them out of the play, the forward comes and scoops up the puck, and that's the drill. That's the drill. You're supposed to rub out the forward, take the puck, and it's working on kind of swooping below the goal line and stealing the puck from the forward. Well, Nikita Chibrikov was the one forward in the drill that was designed for him to lose, and it lasted about 30 seconds of him just holding the puck along the boards. Elias Salamonson was the defenseman trying to battle it from him, and he almost had it about 3 or 4 times, and Nikita Chibrikov would just get that stick lift or just get body positioning to get that puck back from him. And this is just some random training camp drill, but man, Nikita Chibrikov, coming off of a major knee injury, he attacks every single drill with that much intensity. And just reading the body language and the facial expressions of Scott O'Neill and Davis Payne, who are running the drill as well. I mean, they're dumping the puck into the corner and they're kind of looking at each other like, is this guy serious? Like, what is going on here? Because everyone else, it's 2 seconds. They get rubbed out, the puck pops out, they take it, drill's over. Nikita Chibrikov, it lasted about 20 or 30 seconds of him holding that puck in the corner, battling like it was game 7 of the playoffs in training camp day 2. And I think that kind of effort doesn't go unnoticed in the coaching staff. And it definitely did not go unnoticed when I was watching camp. So I needed to give a quick shout out to Nikita Chibrikov, not saying that, again, that he's making the team or anything like that, but coming off of a massive knee injury, not sure how he's going to look, how explosive is he going to be. He's absolutely got that dog in him. And we've talked about that quite a bit, Lyss, that Nikita Chibrikov has that dog in him, and he's doing everything in his power to make this team. And I'm fascinated to see how he plays today, because if any of that transfers into game action in the preseason, I think that goes a lot further with the coaching staff than maybe one rep in a battle drill that impressed me of all people, but would impress Scott O'Neill if he went out and scored a goal today and showed that same fight in the corners every single shift.
Yeah, I think Nikita Chibrikov brings something a little bit different to the lineup, and just given the nature of the situation that he's kind of found himself in, there's been a ton of comparisons between him and Brad Lambert for the last 12 months.
Yes.
They were both the 2 forward prospects on the Manitoba Moose that were both primed to make the jump, that had the highest ceiling, all these different things. Pardon me. And so I think that the whole idea of them being different players is very legitimate. And Nikita Chibrikov is a player that falls into that category of not the elite scoring, high power skating, whatever forward, but like bottom 6 player, but actually good, right? Because that's always the thing, is that there are so many guys that we call good defensively, and they're not good defensively. They're just bad offensively. So everyone thinks they must be good at something, even though that's not necessarily true. Nikita Chibrikov is a guy who can totally take those tougher matchups, and I really like the way that he doesn't make any puck easy to get, right? So the turnovers are a little bit lower. The puck battle win percentages, haven't counted them myself, but I'm sure are significantly higher when he's on the ice, and all those different things where, anything you can do to eat away at that time, kind of chip away, make it a little bit more uncomfortable for a guy to get up off the ice when you knock him down against top competition is really, really valuable. capable. And so that's a guy that I really do think serves a ton of purpose on in the depth of the Winnipeg Jets lineup, where I just feel like in general, there are a lot of guys who can do that. But they're the Vlad Nemestikov types or whatever, guys that's not really their mantra, but that's just the role that they've kind of been put in. So it's going to be interesting to see if that skill set shines over the next few games and if he's able to kind of, like you said, work his way into this lineup.
Yeah. I'm really, really interested to see what he's able to do, especially in today's game, like I said, because doing one, good rep in a battle drill is one thing, but game action's different. Playing with teammates is different that he might play with the Moose. And again, it's all about, and we'll get into this when we talk about today's game, it's all about showing the coaching staff that when there is an injury in the middle of December, that I'm the guy that should be called up. I'm the one that you can't ignore here on the Manitoba Moose, and I should get that call up. And Nikita Chibrikov, that does go a long way to changing minds in December. One rep in training camp that I'm overanalyzing, but still, it still is worth mentioning. And Nikita Chibrikov has been really, really impressive to me. And even if you're the type, and I totally get it, and I'm almost in this camp, that's like, okay, if he's so good and if he's playing so well, and we'll see in today's game and the games going forward, if he's playing so well, why isn't he on the team? I totally get that point of view. And Nikita Chibrikov has a few games here where if he's so impressive, we can have that talk. But it's still a good sign to see a guy like him coming off a major knee injury, playing well in camp or battling in camp, because not every player comes back with the same explosiveness, the same burst, the same fight, the same willingness to go into the corner and fight in the corner in a training camp drill like it's game 7 of the playoffs. Like, some players just aren't wired that way, but Nikita Chibrikov is. So that's a good thing to see. And something that I'll be watching for if he carries it into game action, not just today, but also the next couple of days as well, as I'm sure he'll play over the next couple of days with, NHL players and play with some potential third lines and things of that nature. But let's get into today's game. And before we get into today's game, I want to give a quick shout out to Nicole J, who DM'd me this morning and was in chat. She put good morning way earlier on. I can't find the comment, but shout out to Nicole J. She DM'd me with 2 tickets to today's game. So I want to give everyone here on WST Sunday Live the opportunity to go to our website, winnipegsportstalk.com, hit on the contest tab at the top of the screen. This giveaway will close at 11. It's 2 tickets to today's Winnipeg Jets game against the Minnesota Wild. So head over to winnipegsportstalk.com/contest and enter your email for a chance to win. The giveaway will close at 11, and you will have 2 tickets to today's Winnipeg Jets game against the Minnesota Wild. So everyone here on WST Sunday Live, the podcast listeners might not get this opportunity. Podcast will come out a little bit later. We're already 25 or so minutes into today's episode. So if you're here live on YouTube, head on over to winnipegsportstalk.com and you can enter for tickets to today's preseason game against the Minnesota Wild. Lyss, we've stalled long enough on the lineup. It's time to take a look at my very expert opinion preseason projected lines. No, I'm kidding. Don't take these seriously here in terms of the players that are playing with one another. But this is the game roster, and it's just in order of I just put them all on a page. And anyways, these are the 13 forwards and 7 defensemen and 2 goaltenders that are playing in today's game for the Winnipeg Jets. So we've got Cole Koepke, Morgan Barron, Brad Lambert, Nikita Chibrikov, Brayden Yager, Samuel Fagemo, Jared Anderson-Dolan, David Gustafson, Walker Dewar, Philip DiGiuseppe, Danny Jilkin, Owen Martin, and Kevin He. Those are the forwards. On defense, Hayden Fleury, Colin Miller, Logan Stanley, Elias Salamonson, Isaac Phillips, Tyrell Bauer, and Dylan Anhorn. And then between the pipes, Isaac Poulter and Thomas Milic. Now, Jared Anderson-Dolan, David Gustafson, and Walker Dewar has been a line in camp. Stanley Salamonson has been a pairing in camp. Fleury Miller has been a pairing in camp. So these are my roughly projected lines. I'm not sure about the top 2 lines. I'm really not. Chibrikov, Yager, Fagemo has also been a bit of a line in camp. So, Lyss, what are your thoughts on this lineup? The Manitoba Moose taking the ice today, basically.
No, this literally is the Manitoba Moose. And so a couple things that I've circled here is just the whole idea of, I was doing some Googling yesterday. The Manitoba Moose, I don't think, play a preseason game. And I was going through the preseason schedule. Other teams do, but I couldn't find Manitoba Moose preseason anywhere. So to me, this is Manitoba Moose preseason, right?
Yeah.
So we are not going to get to see what a Samuel Fogamo, Walker Dewar, whatever situation is going to look like in a preseason game until the Manitoba Moose home opener on Friday after the Jets home opener, right?
Yeah.
So this is preseason for them as much as it is preseason for the Jets as well. So what I'm going to be watching for is, some of that chemistry forming there, right? Any of those different lineups. So like Brad Lambert, for example, I really hope he gets some reps with some guys like Danny Zhelkin, like Phil DiGiuseppe, or even splitting up that second line that you have listed there.
Sure.
Because those are the guys that he's going to be playing with, in my opinion, and stuff like that. I'm excited to see how Samuel Fogamo looks. Yep. I think that that's a guy who has a little bit of a higher ceiling, lower floor sort of situation. Like that one could hit, but it very well could not as well. But there might be something to like there that I'm kind of excited about. And I'm hoping to see Braden Yager kind of bring the best out of some other guys around him. We haven't seen him get game reps really with as many of these players as we maybe would have liked, just with the way that COVID and his age kind of impacted his eligibility to play. He was 4 games away from getting to play in the AHL last year, so it was really too bad that he had to go back to junior for another year. But I'm really looking forward to seeing if he can be a complementary piece to some of the more dynamic Moose players on this roster here, specifically in Nikita Chibrikov and Brad Lambert. But I'm also excited to see Danny Zhelkin kind of come out. He's a guy who a lot of people have been giving some love to based on how he played in the prospect games and how he's looked at camp. He scored the shootout winner yesterday. He's a guy that I think is due for whether it be some luck or having a good season or whatever. And he's going to be one of those players that I think is going to be an important piece in roster construction for the top end of that Moose lineup, whether it's finding good line mates for Barlow or whoever you have there, right? So I think that he's a guy I'm also going to be watching for. And that Jad Gustafson Dewar line, I think I'm kind of whatever about. That's probably the one I'll be watching the least. But maybe I'll throw it back to you to talk a little bit about the defense pairing.
Sure, yeah. Al Broderick, thanks for stopping by. He asked, game time is 4 o'clock today at Canada Life Center, 4 o'clock Central. Head on down to the game. You teed me up for the defense core, and I'm shocked that you didn't mention this. My initial reaction when I saw the Winnipeg Jets preseason lineup is, where on earth is Ville Heinola? If anyone in this organization needs the reps, it's Ville. Why is he not playing in this game? Now, the Jets have their reasons. I get it. I'm trying to wrap my head around why Ville isn't playing in this game. And honestly, maybe the Jets are galaxy braining things to the point where Ville's going to go on waivers at some point, or at least that's what we expect. So they're not playing him in a preseason game so that teams can't watch video on him to know whether or not they should claim him when he does go on waivers. That is like an insane galaxy brain take that came to me almost in a dream, it feels like. But I can't believe that Ville's not playing in this game. I don't get it. And look, the Jets, I don't even know if Ville counts as a veteran. I know you need 8 veterans to play in a preseason game. It doesn't matter. Like Dylan Anhorn's on the roster. Isaac Phillips is on the roster. I know these players have been around, but Ville could easily be playing in this game. So Brent Bellamy mentioned it. Ville can't even get into the extras game. That was my first reaction. I just, what? He needs the reps. Does he not? Lyss.
I know. Yeah, of course he does. I think though that, like, I don't know, like, yeah.
Like, am I going crazy?
I don't know. Like, there are multiple games to happen here. Like, I will see how the roster looks on Tuesday. Like, I think it was probably some level of a coin flip between him and this other group of the Flurries and Stanleys. Like, I put him into a similar category as them in terms of the depth chart, in being not the top guys on the team, but also not Manitoba Moose either, just because they're not waivers eligible, not because that's the value that they bring to the team, right? But I think it was probably a bit of a coin flip, and I'm not reading into it too much, but it is just kind of not hilarious is the wrong word, because we're watching the slow fizzle out of the end of Ville Heinola's tenure here in Winnipeg, and it'll be written about in my memoir one day, I'm sure. But the defense group, especially that group of the third guys there, like those guys will all be Manitoba Moose this year for sure. So yeah.
I just don't get it. I mean, I'm also not going to read into it too much. And C-Mac here says Ville Salamonson top D pairing in the AHL this year. Ville clears waivers. That'll almost certainly be the case. And
that's a hope and a dream for sure. I like that.
They played together in the scrimmage yesterday, at least for the parts that we were watching. I don't know if they changed that, but it was interesting to me. I just had Ville Heinola penciled as a guy who was going to be playing in the first preseason game, because look at the roster. I mean, it's fringe NHLers and it's AHLers, and he is exactly that. So I was just shocked that and we'll never get that answer either. Why is Ville Heinola not playing?
Of course not.
Like, why would anyone ever say? But anyways, we've talked
Bring
enough.
back the Jacob Stoller. So Ville.
Yeah. We've talked enough about someone who's not playing in this game today. Let me talk about my thoughts on the actual roster. I mentioned Cole Koepke. He's a guy that's really impressed me in camp so far in a very small sample. Like I said, same thing with Nikita Chibrikov. Those two players I'm really watching for, because Koepke for sure, I think, starts opening night and beyond on that Winnipeg Jets fourth line. And I think he's a quality player. And what I've seen from camp so far is that he can be a really quality fourth line player. So I'm watching Cole Koepke today with Morgan Barron, presumably on the same line. I would like to think that the Jets would have those players on the same line today to develop a little bit of fourth line chemistry to start the year. I'm also watching Brad Lambert, because I talked a lot about Nikita Chibrikov, and Braden Yeager has been really impressive to me as well. I mean, it's so evident how polished Braden Yeager is at such a young age, in terms of, his reads, his defensive responsibilities. All of these things are just so evident when you watch him in a scrimmage setting or something like that. So I'm excited to watch him. And then I bring that up to say Brad Lambert. He's had better camps, I think, at least through 3 days. And this is a chance, a preseason game, to really show, okay, I should be in the conversation to make this Winnipeg Jets roster. So it's a big game for Brad Lambert. I know some people in chat will say, preseason's useless, and I agree that it's way too long. But for players like Lambert and Chibrikov, this is a massive opportunity for them to show the Winnipeg Jets coaching staff that they're too good for a game like this, or something like that. I don't think that ends up happening. But if Brad Lambert just dominates, that can change some minds in the Winnipeg Jets management group. So it's a big game for those players specifically. And I know you look at the roster, you don't see Kyle Connor, you don't see Connor Hellebuck, you don't see Josh Morrissey. You're like, I might not watch this game. But for those players that are fighting for roles, and young players, prospects, this is a very important game for them down the line to try and get more NHL games under their belt. So the prospects I'm watching for, Cole Koepke I'm watching for. On the defense, I think Stanley and Salamonson are probably going to be playing together today. Don't take these lines for truth, because we don't know what the lines are going to be. We just have the roster. But I will see Fleury and Miller, I think, are going to play together. Stanley and Salamonson, I could see they've been paired up in camp. And then the goaltending, I think Poulter and Milic are likely to split this game. And that's kind of what you see out of preseason goaltending most of the time. Lyss, any final thoughts on today's roster, today's game, the importance of it? Any thoughts on the Jets game, first game of the season, game day edition of WST Sunday Live here? Thanks everyone for joining us. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to answer that question with a non-answer for sure. I think the big thing is that between now and the next time you and I speak, there's probably going to be a couple of cuts from this roster. It's probably going to get trimmed down a little bit after. I would say probably Tuesday. I don't actually know, but if I had to hypothesize, I know that the Tuesday group is likely going to be a bit more of a Jets-esque roster.
Jonathan Taves will play Tuesday.
Right.
And his line mates, Scott and
his line mates. Yeah. So I think that this might be some of the only action. Some of these guys are only going to get to play one game, maybe two games. The Isaac Phillips, the Dylan Horn, Tyrell Bauer, like that group, and likely Kevin He, a couple guys like that and everything. So if I were you, and you being the listeners, just kind of keep an eye on those guys who are probably the more fringe guys, because this might be all you get to see of them. So over the course of the game tonight, kind of keep an eye on them. And then as they go back to their respective teams, whether it be the Manitoba Moose or junior clubs or anything like that, we'll follow what they're doing over the course of the year. But this might be the only action you get to see them in a Jets jersey for a little while.
Yeah, for sure. And that's been the case over the past number of years too. These players play one game and then get sent down or get cut and move on to the Moose or another team. Here, I see some people in chat asking about the Minnesota Wild roster. They're on the left side here. Some notable players. I mean, Jesper Wallstedt is their young, up-and-coming, high-end prospect goaltender who's expected to start this game. We've got a Zach Bogosian revenge game down at Canada Life Center today. Does
it still count as revenge if it's been like 12 years since he's been here?
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. Zach Bogosian revenge game.
Good to know.
Yep. And David Hrabchak, former third overall pick, was traded for last season. He's playing in this game. Carson Lambos, second round pick from the Minnesota Wild, is playing in this game. He's from Manitoba. So, yeah.
Guess what he was, Connor?
Winnipeg Ice.
He was a Winnipeg Ice.
Nice. We took us a few episodes of the season, but we finally snuck the Winnipeg Ice in there. But Carson Lambos, Zach Bogosian is playing, like I said, big revenge game for him. So there is the Minnesota Wild preseason roster for today. Anything else, Lyss, before we move on to our segments today? If people are just popping in as well, I should say really quickly, we are running a ticket giveaway for today's game on our website, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. You can head over there. The giveaway is going to close at 11. So head on over to our website, winnipegsportstalk.com. And if you want to enter a giveaway for today's game for tickets, enter your email there, and we will draw that a little bit later today. Again, the game's at 4 o'clock. The giveaway closes at 11, so head on over there right now if you want tickets to today's game. Shout out to Nicole J. Really appreciate the tickets from her, dropping them through the DMs, and we're putting them on our website for people to enter and potentially go to today's game to watch all these prospects. So head on over there, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. Lyss, it's time for the segments. Trending up, down. This is everyone's favorite segment every single week. This is the segment where we outline one Winnipeg Jet who has trended up or down over the past week of play. Obviously, there hasn't been a Jets game yet. There is one today, game day edition of WST Sunday Live. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. But next week, we will officially have official picks, and we won't be able to cop out with maybe like the Bombers or something like that. That's next week. But we can still, on this episode, we still can because there's no Jets games yet.
Perfect.
But trending up, down, drop your picks in the chat below. One Winnipeg Jet or, Blue Bomber, whatever you want. There hasn't been games yet. We're not keeping track. Let us know in the comments down below your picks for trending up or trending down. Lyss, I'll let you go first on trending up.
I'm going to give my pick of the week to Colby Barlow. We didn't talk about him a whole ton, but I saw some people mentioning in the chat that they watched the scrimmage highlights. Once again, shout out Cam Penny for those. Colby Barlow's release is looking to be in mid-season form, and he's looking like he's having some fun out there. And he told us yesterday that he leaned out a little bit over the summer and he's feeling good, all that different stuff. Did not say best shape of his life, but it's always implied unless they tell you otherwise. But he's a guy who obviously is making his pro jump this year, so I am looking forward to seeing how this game goes for him and everything. But he's been looking good to me, and I think that he definitely could be in a position to succeed this year, whether it's playing with a Danny Jelkin or a Brad Lambert at center, something else there. I think there are some guys there who have the potential to feed him some pucks and some stuff like that. So he gets my trending up pick for the week. I think he's a guy that last year some people were starting to get a little bit worried about, just because one-trick pony is the wrong word, but he definitely has his game is unlike Braden Yeager's in the sense that it's not like everything is pretty good. It's some of it's really, really, really good. Yeah. And some of it is pretty bad. So I think that there are a lot of people that had some concerns about him as a prospect. But I've been liking what I've been seeing from him so far.
Yeah. I mentioned this on Winnipeg Sports Talk yesterday. Yeager and Barlow and Jacob Julian are the three, notable prospects making their pro jump this season from junior to presumably the Manitoba Moose. And Colby Barlow is a player that we don't really talk about enough. And you mentioned that we haven't mentioned him on today's show, despite him playing a great game in that scrimmage. And again, it's one scrimmage, it's just training camp, but Colby Barlow did look great. He has leaned out quite a bit this summer, as he said yesterday in our media availability. And when comparing these two prospects, I said yesterday on the show, Braden Yeager, I almost view as a prospect as having no real glaring weaknesses, but he also doesn't have that one trait that just stands out above everyone else, that he's so elite at X. You know, he's just kind of polished. He does everything well. He doesn't really make mistakes. And that's kind of it, which gives him a bit of a middle six upside in terms of projecting into the NHL future. Braden Yeager has nothing at the level of Colby Barlow's shot. Colby Barlow's shot is elite at his age, at 20 years old. And going into the pro game, to be able to lean on that shot and find those pockets to get open, to use that shot, is going to be really, really interesting. So I'm really interested to see what Colby Barlow can do this season in his pro jump, because it's captivating to me in the sense of he has this elite shot, but what else has he developed? He's leaned out now. Does he look quicker? All of these things I'm interested to watch for as Barlow makes his pro jump. My trending up pick, I'll keep it quick because I've mentioned him a few times on today's show. It's Nikita Chibrikov. Love the way he's competing in camp. Love the level that he's competing at, and the explosiveness and the burst that hasn't really gone anywhere coming off of that injury last season. So good to see him doing his thing at camp, and I'm intrigued to see what he can do today in the Winnipeg Jets' first preseason game against the Minnesota Wild. Lyss, who do you got for trending down?
For trending down, this is going to be a weird workaround pick, but I was going to go with passing yards. I was going to go with the Miami Dolphins. I had a couple of football-related ones, but I'm going to go with Brad Lambert, and not because he's necessarily doing anything wrong or whatever like that, but I think that the Brad Lambert question mark was always also about how the rest of the team looks and everything like that. And I think that Cole Perfetti's had a nice looking camp. Jonathan Taves, I think, is looking up to the par of what everyone was kind of hoping he would and all that sort of stuff. If Jonathan Taves flopped to no end and everything, there was room for Brad Lambert to come in there. But I think the Perfetti, Taves, Nyquist line has looked good enough that the Brad Lambert stocks are down a little bit, just in terms of how much of a lane there was to make that Nikolai Ehlers replacement role out of camp. So he gets my trending down pick more circumstantially than anything else.
Yeah, he's going to get he was on my list. He's not going to get my pick because that would be cheating. We can't do two of the same pick, but he was on my list in terms of, I've noticed Colby Barlow quite a bit. I've noticed Nikita Chibrikov battling in the corners. I just haven't had that same level of, I'm noticing Brad Lambert to the point where there's no way the Jets coaching staff isn't either. I just haven't seen that quite yet. And like I said, though, it's been 3 days of camp. Today's an actual game. So for these players with the prospects, with the high pedigree, with, the potential to win a job with the Winnipeg Jets or anything like that, this is a big game for them. So I'm excited to see how they come out and play. I'm going to go with passing completions. That's my trending down pick, because here in Winnipeg, we learned yesterday that that is not important. Well, it is to winning a football game, but the Bombers tried their best to make it not important. And I want to give a shout out to Trey Vavel. He's almost getting snubbed for our trending up because he had that kick return touchdown or the missed field goal return touchdown, I should say, was incredible. But shout out to John Hodge. He tweeted out that the Blue Bombers won a game in 1960 with 0 completions. So there has been a time where teams finished with no completions, which was a long time ago, and still won. And the Bombers yesterday really tried their best to replicate that. I mean, Chris Streveler would drop back to pass on second down and just run, and he just wouldn't throw. Like he just wasn't throwing. So he wasn't even attempting passes. He wasn't completing passes. And it was ugly, but the Bombers got a win, and they're at 7-7. And for more Bombers takes, Schnitzy and I every single Monday morning do the WST Bombers report. So stay glued to that. Monday morning, we will have our full breakdown of the Bombers win over the Ottawa Red Blacks, and everything that happened in that game, and the lack of things that happened in that game. Because I gotta be honest, for a while there, I was sitting there thinking, there's no way I'm spending my Saturday afternoon watching this. It was a tough watch. was a tough watch. I will say that. So passing completions is my pick for trending down. Lyss, we're going to get to burning questions in just a second, but I'm going to do it for the third time. If people are just popping by, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. We are giving away tickets courtesy of Nicole J to today's Winnipeg Jets preseason game. So if you're here with us live on YouTube and you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit the like button down below, hit that subscribe, and head over to our website, winnipegsportstalk.com, if you want to enter a giveaway for today's game against the Minnesota Wild. You enter your email, the giveaway will close at 11, and we'll reach out shortly after that with the winner of the tickets. Lyss, it's time for burning question. One burning question. I almost forgot the name of our segment that we've been doing for over a year now. It's time for one burning question. This is the part of the show where we throw it to the chat and we ask you guys to flood the chat with questions, and we will try and rapid fire as many as we can here on WST Sunday Live. It was FanFest yesterday. It's training camp. It's a game day edition. For your Winnipeg Jets questions, drop them in the chat below, and Lyss and I will answer as many as we can. Lyss, my question to you is, are you going to the game today?
I'm not. Fun fact about my day. I have two other hockey commitments kind of in that same window. One, I am going to help with a skate with PWHL goaltender Corinne Schrader, running a bit of a clinic out for some girls hockey this afternoon, which is going to be a ton of fun.
Nice.
And then I'm going to watch the Winnipeg Monarchs versus the Selkirk Steelers at Hockey for All Center this fine evening. I will be at all those Winnipeg Monarchs games for the foreseeable future in this season here over at Hockey for All. So if you ever want to watch some fun hockey with some crazy results and some lots of intensity and post-whistle scrums and all that good stuff, you can always come on down to Hockey for All and watch some MJ, because it's a blast. So I will not be actually watching the game at all today. So I'll have to watch it on replay a little bit later, but I will not be there. But I will be there on Tuesday. Nice.
Yes, we will be there on Tuesday for sure. Jonathan Taves' kind of unofficial debut, because it's obviously preseason. But let's get into one burning question. I think I've convinced myself that I am going to go to today's game. I am going to cover it from the press box. I said yesterday I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you were flirting with it yesterday. You weren't sure.
I said if Taves was playing, obviously, because then that's a huge story in terms of it's his debut. And I know a lot of people are disappointed that he's not playing today, but I think I am going to go. If Brock Purdy was playing for the 49ers, maybe I'd stay home and watch the game. But Mac Jones is playing, so I'll just want to close my eyes and watch the game from afar.
Yeah, Mac Jones football is not for the weak. Yeah, I get that.
And I don't want to stay home, watch the 49ers and watch Mac Jones and then regret not going. So I think I am going to go. So I'll be there at Canada Life Center up in the press box. Let's get into the questions. Doug asks, Isaac Poulter, Winnipeg boy, does he get to play today? He is on the roster. And I think the goalies are just going to split time. So whether Poulter starts the game or not, I think whoever starts is going to play till about the 10-minute mark in the second period. And then they're going to tag out and the other goaltender will get the other half of the game. I can't see one of the goalies getting the full game, but who knows what the Winnipeg Jets' plans are. But I do expect to see Isaac Poulter in the net today. Next question here. Which, if any, D-man do the Winnipeg Jets lose on waivers before the season begins? Lyss, you want to take this one?
Sure, yeah. This might be my crazy take. I don't know that the Winnipeg Jets lose any defenseman on waivers in this.
So you don't think Ville gets
claimed?
And
so that is my prediction, that I don't think that Ville Heinola will get claimed on waivers, just because the body of work in recent past is so uninspiring, and we understand how many different factors have contributed to this, but he hasn't been healthy for 2 seasons now, and his NHL stat line is nothing to write home about. And yeah, he's had some great campaigns in the AHL and everything like that, but so have lots of guys. And this is a guy who, I know, former first-round pick, but also, so he's got that going for him, but he's also a small Finnish defenseman, which he has going against him. So I don't think that, I think that if Ville made the roster and got put on waivers in December, that it might be a different story. But I think with this huge class of guys going through waivers in preseason, like we always see, I don't think Ville gets claimed at this point. I think that there's just too much out there, and I think that he just hasn't done kind of enough, and so I think that the Winnipeg Jets will not lose him and then Isaac Phillips, Dylan Anhor, I don't know, these other guys who have to clear waivers. I'm not concerned about them either. This isn't Simon Lundmark. Simon Lundmark is not gonna get picked up on waivers.
That was ridiculous.
I don't know that the Jets lose anyone on waivers this year. I don't know. If I wouldn't be shocked at all if Billy did get scooped. Like I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like I totally if I was a GM, I'd scoop him too, just because kind of some upside. But like he would then have to be on that team's NHL roster for a period of time, right? Like they can't just send him down to their AHL club. So I think that are there 31 or is there a team out there who wants Ville playing NHL minutes for them for the foreseeable future? I don't know.
Fair. Lyss, I think we have our first McDonald's breakfast bet of the year. If Ville Heinola gets put on waivers, I think he gets claimed.
Man, do you know what? This was last year. The first McDonald's bet
was
breakfast
Kupari.
Bet of the season was Kupari, and it never happened. So, but this will be a bet that will come to fruition for sure.
And I can't wait to be
I'm writing this down.
McDonald's breakfast richer in the future. That'll be fun. So Lyss doesn't think Ville Heinola gets claimed on waivers. I think he does, and we'll see what ends up happening as Lyss writes it down there. So we'll see. Bryson asks, would Colin Miller get claimed on waivers if Salamonson stole his job? I think so. Colin Miller has 1 year left at a reasonable cap number. He's proven that he can be a quality depth defenseman at worst and a spot duty third pairing offensive puck moving good slap shot guy. And the fact that he only has 1 year left at $1.5 million, I think makes it easy for a lot of teams out there to just scoop him up. So I do think if Elias Salamonson broke the door down and absolutely won a job directly out of camp, and Colin Miller was the guy that they felt needed to go on waivers, I don't think he would make it through. Lyss, do you agree on that?
Yeah, no, I do. But I think that it's maybe a bit of an Connor Hrabchak-ism, hope and a dream, because there's also Luke Schenn there too, right?
Yes, for sure. And I do think Schenn has the inside track on the third pair right D. Yeah. I'll say that as well, because he, funny enough, in the scrimmage yesterday, he had a few big hits. Like he was hitting. And the intensity did, Colby Barlow said this when we spoke to him yesterday as well. The intensity of the scrimmage really picked up as it went along. And that was in large part due to Luke Schenn just hitting everything that moved and not really caring about health in a training camp game, which is, I mean, good to see. You want that competitiveness from your veterans. So good to see from Luke Schenn taking a training camp scrimmage as seriously as he was. Darth Skater asks, if a rookie blows the doors off at camp, who's the first veteran leaving the lineup? I'm going to assume that this is a forward question because defensively, I mean, if Elias Salamonson somehow miraculously makes the team, I don't even know. I don't know. But up front, I think it's Tanner Pearson. And it's really interesting because this gets a lot muddier when Adam Lowry comes back, because Adam Lowry's going to come back, and then presumably Tanner Pearson comes out of the lineup. At least for me, that's what I'm expecting. We'll see once the games happen how Tanner Pearson looks and things like that. Maybe it's Koepke that comes out of the lineup. But when Lowry comes back, you might be looking at a fourth line of Barron, Nemesnikov, and then Koepke or Pearson, with Gustafsson actually going on waivers down to the Manitoba Moose, or looking to clear waivers, because that is then 13 forwards when Adam Lowry comes back. So if you add another one in, if you add Brad Lambert or Nikita Chibrikov into the lineup when Adam Lowry's healthy, then that means Tanner Pearson is going on waivers. And at 1 year, $1 million, I don't know. Teams, it would be need dependent on Tanner Pearson getting claimed or not. But Tanner Pearson would be the one going on waivers, presumably at that point. So again, when looking at the numbers game, we've said this many years in a row now, it feels like, but it just feels like the Jets prospects are really up against it in terms of the numbers game to make the team. And then especially so when Adam Lowry comes back, because then you're putting everyone down the lineup one spot further, and Nemesnikov is your 4C and all of these things. So I can't see it happening, but to answer the question, I think it's Tanner Pearson is the first veteran that would come out of the lineup in that scenario. Let's get to the next question. Waiters, will the Chiefs miss the playoffs? Yes. I'm here for all the Chiefs slander. Let me see. Who's Luke Schen's defense partner? I think it's Hayden Fleury to start the season, Lyss. What do you think?
Okay, I have a crazy take. Take, okay?
It's Ville.
Listen.
No.
It's Josh Morrissey. Ville and Heinola and DeVello are the top pairing, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe you and I have spoken about this, and I don't know if it's been on the record or off the record or just kind of some random workaround thoughts here, but with the sort of situation that the Winnipeg Jets find themselves in with their depth defenders, I could really foresee this full season being a bit of a revolving door down there based on competition and load management and all these different things, because I believe that the difference between game results when playing any combination of Stanley, Schenn, Miller, Fleury is so negligible that I think that they could really get away with moving guys around down there based on what's needed in any particular situation. Sure. So I don't know that I have an answer for who is this person's deep pair, because I think it's going to change over the course of the year. I think I would not be shocked if every single one of those guys played between 40 and 60 games. I don't think we're going to see any third pairing defenseman on the Winnipeg Jets play a full 75 plus this year. I just don't see it happening. Really? I think there's going to be some movement. Yeah. I think there's going to be some paddles for jobs. I think that there's going to be some need dependent stuff, whatever. I think that it makes the most sense based on who they have down there to keep guys fresh, to get the right guys into the lineup and everything. So for the most part, I would agree with you that I think Fleury has likely passed Stanley in the depth chart just based on how last year went. And then if we want to put a microscope on the playoffs as well. But I think that Logan Stanley is definitely going to get some games, and I think Colin Miller definitely is as well. And I just don't know what that configuration looks like.
Yeah. Matt Hyman asked, will the Jets go 13 forward, 8D? I assume so. I think that's where they're going to go. I don't think they're going to want to put Gustafsson on waivers and go 12 forwards. And I can't see them putting any of the 8 defensemen on waivers. Again, they have 9 with Ville, and I think they're going to carry 8. So I do think it's 13 forwards, 8D coming out of camp. Barring injury, of course. And then he also asked, will Miller or Schenn play any lefty? Colin Miller, I think, is a higher likelihood to play left side in that scenario, but I just can't see it. And I agree with you, Lyss. I think Phil Smithson was also in agreement with us here, saying the top 2 D pairings are set. Do the Jets do a 3A and 3B pairing, each getting a series of games at a time, which is what you were saying? That's kind
of what I mean. Yeah, something like that. I don't know if it'd be series of games, whatever, but that's also what the Manitoba Moose do, right? Like they have so many players, and they have like a lot of their defensemen,
and it works for them. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, clearly. No, a lot of their players don't play the full season, right? Like you have any given game, like any guy, like Tyrell Bauer was a healthy scratch like a bajillion times. Well, healthy. I don't know if he's ever fully healthy because he's always getting into fights and everything like that, and it's probably just hoping that he's not dying. But I think that there's definitely some potential for that when you carry more than like you said, probably 8 defensemen and not 7. I think that it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And all those players, Fleury, Schenn, Miller, Stanley, they believe in as third pairing guys. So I do think it's going to be very matchup dependent. Like I think.
Right. And then like C-Max says here, is there Schenn in one game and Stanley in the next to have a hitter in each game? Do you do that with like the kind of complementary pieces of like the puck moving fluid skater guy with Colin Miller and Hayden Fleury, or do you totally load up with one, right? Like if this is a St. Louis Blues game, whatever, are you playing the Stanley Schenn to try and hit everything that moves? And then against maybe like a faster skating Utah team or something like that, are you
Fleury, Miller,
playing both of your kind of skating whatever defenseman in Fleury and Miller, or are you kind of spreading out the wealth there and trying to match up the skill sets and get more of like a Samberg Pionk situation, right, where you kind of have those opposing skill sets in the lineup? I don't know. I just think that it's that sort of attempt makes more sense to me.
Yeah. I do think that that's where the Jets want to start. And that's why I think it's going to be Fleury Schenn to start the season. Opening night against Dallas, I think they really value Schenn's physicality, and I don't think they want to fully load up with Stanley Schenn on the physicality part And I think Hayden Fleury is a guy that really showed well in the playoffs and earned himself another contract here with the Jets. So I do think that Hayden Fleury, he's had a good camp as well. I've been impressed with him in the third pair. And he's playing today with Colin Miller. And that could just as easily be the opening night pairing. But again, the opening night pairing might not even be the game 2 pairing, or let alone we get to game 43. Who knows? And the Jets have 4 third pairing defensemen that they believe in, and I think they're going to rotate them quite a bit. So that was one burning question. Thank you, everyone in chat, for dropping your questions down below. We really, really appreciate it. And if you've made it this far in the stream and you're enjoying it, make sure you hit the like button down below. Hit that subscribe and the notification bell. We go live every single Sunday at 9 a.m. for WST Sunday Live. And obviously, Huss and Remo go live Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock with all the latest on the Winnipeg Jets and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It'll be a packed show tomorrow. They'll be talking about the Bomber game. They'll be talking about the Jets preseason game. They'll be talking about the NFL Week 3. So tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily with Huss and Remo, and join us every single Sunday at 9 a.m. Lyss, before we go today, anything else you want to say? I mean, we got NFL coming up. We got a Winnipeg Jets game day. It's here. The Winnipeg Jets are playing hockey today, and I can't wait.
The Manitoba Moose are playing hockey today, Connor. But
in Winnipeg Jets,
there is a game with Winnipeg Jets uniforms being played at Canada Life Center today, so no complaints on my end for that, for sure. No, I think that I'm going to have a wonderful Sunday of watching football, because the Miami Dolphins can't ruin my life, because they did that on Thursday, because they're so polite and kind for saving my Sunday for me. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this week, hoping to stop by camp a couple times. Looking forward to going to the game on Tuesday. You and I will both be there, and we'll be kind of out and about, which is going to be super, super fun. And just really, humble and grateful to look forward to another year of working with you and having our amazing listeners come and chat with us every single Sunday, getting to connect with the team, getting to learn more about the sport, getting to learn more about Winnipeg and the fans and all that good stuff. I am feeling very, very grateful. So I'm so happy that we get to do this every single Sunday and talk about the best sport in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just one more shout out. I mean, we mentioned it right off the top because FanFest was yesterday. I'm still tired from the absolute maze and zoo that it was there at FanFest, running into so many people, talking to people, doing the show, watching the scrimmage, doing media. It was a crazy day, but it was so much fun. And FanFest is quickly becoming one of my favorite days of the year, along with, opening night is up there. And usually when the Jets make the playoffs, like game 1 of the playoffs is up there. And FanFest is up there in terms of the excitement around the team. And it's up to the 10th degree or the nth degree this year with Jonathan Taves. I mean, it's gone nuts. And you said earlier you had a take that Jonathan Taves is going to sell a little bit more tickets this year. I couldn't agree more, because the excitement level around Jonathan Taves being a Winnipeg Jet is very, very high. And that was very evident yesterday at FanFest. A lot of people there, a lot of people having some Jets dogs, kids playing the hockey shooting thing. I played against Remo, and I don't know. Well, you'll have to see the results. It'll be on our Instagram page coming soon. So yeah, it was an awesome day. I mean, seeing everyone.
It's all about, right?
That's what it's all about. Exactly. It was an absolutely awesome day. So thank you everyone for stopping by the WST booth, taking a koozie, taking a sticker. We really appreciate it. And one last time, before we go, we are giving away tickets to today's game, courtesy of Nicole J. Head over to our website right now, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. You enter your email. The giveaway is going to close in about an hour at 11 o'clock. So enter your email there, and we will close the giveaway and let people know. We will let you know earlier or later today, before the game, which is at 4 o'clock, whether or not you've won the tickets and you're heading to today's Winnipeg Jets preseason game. So head over to our website, run the contest, or run your email into the contest link, and we will let you know later on if you have won the tickets. So thank you everyone for watching. I just said it all, but I'm so grateful that everyone stopped by and we had a great day yesterday. Lyss, I don't know if there's anything else on today's game, but I do want to ask, and I should have brought this up earlier, but sorry, I know I should have wrapped, but anyways,
we're not done yet.
We're not done yet. One more question. Tuesday's game against the Edmonton Oilers. You're going to be there. I'm going to be there. Huss is going to be there. It's going to be a great time. Taves, Nyquist, Perfetti. What do you think the vibe is going to be around Taves for the preseason? It's a preseason game, but he's playing.
I think there are going to be cheers the first time he touches the puck. I do. And I think he's going to score a goal and blow the roof off.
Score a goal. Whoa.
Canada Life Center. No, I don't know. I'm really not sure because, again, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't like, it's not like booing when you touch the puck or whatever. It's not like as magnetic as that. And then, his first time hitting the ice is going to be during warmies, which isn't when the crowd is full and people are already cheering when the whole team comes out. Right. Actually, guaranteed starting lineup. He will be on the starting lineup.
Oh, yeah.
And so they'll announce his name and then he's going to get the loudest cheer that we'll hear over the course of that game, even louder than any goal that is scored, unless the goal is scored.
Yeah. Holy. And he's going to start opening night as well. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, I think so. We needed to talk about that a little bit more because we don't have a show till next Sunday, Lyss. So I know Sundays at 9 a.m. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I'm super excited. I'll be at the game today. I'll be at the game Tuesday. And then
conviction, he says it now. We've gone from I think I'll probably go to I will be there.
I will be there no matter what. No, we'll see. I still in the air. We'll see how I'm feeling at around 3:00 when I make that decision. I'm a true game time decision. Yeah, game time call today. But thank you everyone for stopping by. We really appreciate it. From Lyss Houde, I'm Connor Hrabchak. Thank you for tuning in to WST Sunday Live. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the game today. Should be a fun one. Prospects taking the ice for the Winnipeg Jets against the Minnesota Wild. WinnipegSportsTalk.com/contest if you want to enter for some tickets for today's game. 4:00 Canada Life Center. Thank you everyone for stopping by, and we'll see you next Sunday at 9 a.m. See you later.